Yo, what is up YouTube? This is Fat from Cosmic and I'm back with a new tutorial. In this one we're going to explore some nice ways in which we can simulate the photocopy print effect in Photoshop. So make sure to stick around till the end of the video because I'm going to be sharing some cool tips and tricks on how to add even more realism to your next design. So with that out of the way, let's jump into the tutorial. So I'm gonna be using my Holyscans texture pack. If you're interested, I'm gonna leave a link in the description, so make sure to check it out. So I'm gonna go to the blending mode and put it into screen. As you can see, the texture is now applied to the wall design. It is applied to every element. What we can do right now to add more realism is to go to filter, noise, and add noise. You don't want to go above 5%. This is pretty cool. Another thing that you can do is you can go to image, adjustments, then brightness and contrast. You can increase the brightness and play with this contrast slider. So I'm pretty happy with something like this. Maybe a little bit, something around -9, and I'm gonna hit OK. So as you can see, this is the before and this is the after. Now let's move on to our second example. So I have this design going here and I'm gonna bring in some more textures. I'm gonna bring this texture one, the same texture that we used for the first design, and I'm gonna put it also in screen blending mode, and then I'm gonna duplicate it. Then I'm gonna press Ctrl I and I'm gonna switch the blending mode to multiply. So as you can see, if I disable this texture copy, you can see that we have only one texture and it is only applied to the dark elements of our design. So with that out of the way, let's get back to our textures. So as you can see, the second texture is, I think it's used for the background. We got the first one that is used for the darker elements, and the second one is used to cover the background. So we can do the same things that we did in the technique number one. Go to noise, add noise, we can add around 4%, and then we can bring in an adjustments, brightness and contrast. So, and I'm gonna increase the brightness a little bit. Oh, that looks good. So I think I'm not happy with these little dots. So what I'm gonna do is go to image, adjustments, brightness and contrast. I'm gonna increase the brightness a little bit so that it gets rid of this overexposed dots. That's cool. I'm gonna hit OK, and we're good. One more step is to go and add some more noise. I'm gonna add around 2% of noise. Make sure that it is put into Gaussian distribution and monochromatic is checked. Hit OK, and now if you zoom out, you can see that we have a texture that is two textures, one that is applied to the design and another one that is applied to the background. So that way your work, if you use this way, your work will look more realistic and it will have that authentic print effect. So one more thing we can do to bring in even more realism for this design is we can go to this texture 5 or any texture actually. Let's pick this texture 9. Let's stretch it to fit the canvas, and I'm gonna put it into screen blending mode, and then I'm gonna play with this fill, adjust it to find something nice. So around here looks good. So as you can see, this texture is giving the design a kind of inconsistency. You can see that it is stimulating the printing process, printing effects. As you can see, we have here a more concentrated area, so there is more ink in this area than this one, which sells that effect, that printing effect, and makes your work look more believable. It will look like it was printed and scanned, so that's a good thing. So one more step we're going to take is to give it the ink bleed effect, just to give it even more realism and make it look like it was truly printed. I'm going to go to the design. I'm going to select this design. I'm going to go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. I'm going to hit OK. Oh, first I'm going to convert, before I can do anything, I'm going to convert this into a smart object. Alright, so I'm going to go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and hit OK. Then I'm gonna bring in a image adjustments and threshold effect. Something like so. And as you can see, we now have a ink bleed effect, which adds even more realism to the design, as you can see. And one more thing we can do is to give this this design a distressed edge look. You can go to filter, pixelate, and then crystallize. And I'm gonna set the cell size to about 3. So this looks very good. One more thing I like to do is to go to filter and then give it a little bit of blur to make it even more realistic. So that's it guys for this tutorial. I hope you find it useful. So as you can see, we created this really beautiful ink and printing effect just with 2 textures and a little bit of effects from Photoshop.